Drug deals and violence in broad daylight, gunfire in the middle of a residential area.
It is very horrible to live here, very scared every time.
A deadly drug war is threatening to overwhelm Belgium, with the whole system struggling to stem a tidal wave of cocaine-fueled violence.
We've never had anything like this before. Things have become dramatically worse.
How could this small country become one of Europe's drug hotspots?
And what are authorities doing to tackle it? We've spoken to the police, to drug addicts, to experts and politicians as we investigate. Police officers Steven and Danny regularly deal with violence and drug deals in the Belgian capital, Brussels. It started just a few years ago. Turf wars broke out as gangs rushed to profit from the soaring demand.
Almost everyone is using cocaine now. We can see it on surveillance cameras. It's happening at all levels of society. It's not just your classic drug addicts, also workers, employees, even executives.
We follow the officers to their next mission, a drug-related incident in the Brussels district of Saint-Gilles.
A local dealer was here dealing drugs. The man wanted to take a photo of him, perhaps to give to the police. The dealers noticed that the man was filming. They attacked the gentleman, beat him up, and took off.
Stephen is fed up of seeing things like this happening. He became a police officer 30 years ago to make this city a safer place. Brussels is his hometown, but he has moved away into the suburbs to escape the escalating violence, at least when he's off duty.
Suddenly, everyone's alarmed. The media is here because of the shootings, but we've been saying things are getting worse here for 10 years. The signs were all there, but nobody listened to the residents or the police.
We'll hear more later on what he thinks should have happened already. But let's look at some numbers first. In 2024, Brussels saw 92 shootings. 9 people were killed and 48 injured, a sharp rise from the year before. In the Belgian capital's troubled Anderlecht district, the fear amongst residents is rising.
It is very horrible to live here, very scared every time.
For example, walking on the street in the evening, it's also dangerous.
It's an area long forgotten by politicians. We've really been neglected.
Let's unpack. Where are the drugs fueling this violence coming from? The cocaine is mostly produced in South America and then gets shipped to Europe. One of the biggest entry points is the Belgian port of Antwerp. From there, it finds its way across Europe. In 2024, Belgium customs intercepted 44 tons of cocaine here. Less than the year before, and still only the tip of the iceberg, says criminologist Steven de Beau, who knows in depth the extent of Belgium's war on drugs.
In the last decade or so, 10 years, probably already the price of cocaine on the street market, it's about 50 euro for 1 gram. It has stayed the same. So this is one way of knowing that we're not really able to lower supply in a substantial way.
36-year-old Jay knows this all too well. He started using crack cocaine in 2016, following in his brother's footsteps. Despite the warnings, he took that first hit, and it cost him everything. His job, his apartment, and eventually his place in society.
Cocaine in Brussels, it's everywhere. That's the problem. I'm a user. I tried to stop, but it's impossible. I do whatever it takes to get 10 euros to buy it. People ask if I'm going to eat. No, I say. I need that 10 euros for crack. I'll eat after.
At Gade, which is Brussels' first supervised drug consumption centre, crack and other substances can be taken in safer, more managed conditions. Bruno Valkeneers has worked here for many years. He says the centre was set up not just to prevent overdoses, but also to shield the public from disturbing scenes and discarded needles. But for him, the real issue runs deeper than drug use itself.
This isn't a crack crisis. It's a social crisis. Unless we tackle the deep social inequalities behind it, more and more people will be pushed out of society. These are people who need help, who deserve to be supported.
Since 2023, Jay gets help here now, but there's a fragile line between survival and relapse.
I've been living on the street for almost a year. I can't take it anymore. I tried to get clean. I had a job, even went to France to work. I had stopped completely. When I came back here, though, the first thing I did was use again.
Officers like Stephen say that cutting off supply could help people like Jay and keep others from falling into the same trap. But he says with too little funding and too few staff, catching dealers is hard. And when they do, many are undocumented and are simply told to leave the country, but they rarely do.
I feel just as much a victim as the people here, because they're counting on me to find a solution. I do my job, but nothing ever changes.
We confronted the Belgian Interior Minister with these accusations of too little funding and personnel shortages.
Yes, there are challenges, but we're working together to overcome them. In the years ahead, both the federal police and local forces will be fully equipped to carry out their full duties, whether that's intervention work or community policing, which is obviously just as essential.
Meantime, barriers have been put up at the sites of recent shootings. But are they really a solution to stopping the shootings and drug dealing?
Cut off one head and two more grow back, like a dragon. That's how this works. It's too lucrative. One man's death is another's paycheck. That won't stop anytime soon.
Fabrice Kums has been the mayor of Anderlecht for 5 years. He knows that arresting dealers could help curb supply, so we asked him why so many are still on the streets.
Our police are constantly on the ground, making arrests. More than 1,000 last year alone. Most of those picked up are vulnerable, undocumented, and constantly being replaced by more.
So what does he think needs to happen to tackle the problem on a larger scale?
The entry point is the port of Antwerp. That's where steps need to be taken. Customs has to carry out more thorough checks on all incoming containers.
We hear this is not only a Belgian problem. It goes far beyond the waters of Antwerp.
Of course, what happens in the port of Antwerp influences Europe. Because if the port of Antwerp is more or less successful in catching amounts of cocaine, this influences the amount of cocaine on the market. So in that sense, you could also look at Europe to invest in Port of Antwerp to really scan more containers or be more efficient.
A booming global drug trade connected to poverty and social neglect. While officers like Stephen do what they can on the streets, the roots of this crisis run much deeper. And unless Europe acts together, the violence is unlikely to stop.